Well, look, that's all right. Talking about artists and songwriters and being in the industry yourself, we got a little game. You're a fan of the pod, you must know it. Shot Stopper.
Of course I do, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, while you've been talking, I've been scanning the room like, what the f*** have they got there?
Do you know what? We want to get him on, so Kano here.
Oh, sick.
Duffy White.
My guy.
Yeah. So you can say that. It's sweet. It's quite nice. But we won't flood you with it.
Yeah. I'm moving house this week, mate. I've basically taken out all the plans in my diary that are going to like damage that situation. I didn't have this one down as doing that. So go gentle. All
right. I've got something down here that is like a cure. Like you don't even taste the alcohol. It's no percentage. But Shot Stopper, a game where we put two artists head to head. So I'm going to do it in the boxing term first of all, so we don't give any of our names away. So let's just say you want to go Roberta Duran or Sugar Ray Leonard. I might go, oh, that's a tough one. I don't know where to go with that. It's a shot. If you can decide, if you can decide, you move on. Yeah. All right, but you
got any nuts? I have to do this on an empty stomach.
Not that sort of pub, mate.
all my mates listen to you like that. Lightweight.
Right.
I'm eyeing Faves' crisps, isn't it?
Look at him. He's got a sandwich down there.
Sandwich crisp.
Right. So your Shot Stopper subtitle is songwriters.
Great.
So
my lifeblood. Before you even start, like you can spend when I do things like this or I do talks and stuff. You spend so much time talking about the artist proposition, which I know on paper looks like it's everything, but mate, the reason I am still here and 20 years in now is because of the songwriters. It's because of the songwriting community. It's because of, my personal love for the craft that they work in, and like if people, it's the untold story of the music. It's the untold story of music for me, is that for every song you love, if you even knew the story behind how that song was made, if you knew the layers of different personalities that have gone into it, if you knew the amount of versions of the song, if you knew what that writer was going through, at the time that they met the artist, like honestly, it's without these guys, it's nothing basically. So it's actually still to this day, no matter what I'm doing, even though principal job is to like work with the artist, like I dedicate as much time as I can to just being around the Sneddons and people like that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I know you as a songwriter.
Yeah.
So that's why
that's the root of it, I guess.
Yeah. And I know you would appreciate it. And here we go anyway, right? So I've gotten two big hitters here.
Have you got a shot ready?
Yeah.
Have you got the glass ready?
No.
Okay. No, I'm going to bang loads of shots here because there's so many people. I'll just be like, I can't call that.
Right, look, I'm not going to fill it.
All right, come on then.
Okay, Prince.
Don't even say it. Don't say MJ
or Adele.
Oh, obviously I got to say Prince. Prince is the greatest of all time, but Adele is exceptional, and she is like, I guess what I was talking about before about like what we export to the world. Jesus Christ, if there won't be anyone better to be the face of that over the last 20 years than her. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. As an artist.
Okay, so you've gone with Prince.
I've gone with Prince, yeah, definitely.
Prince or Johnny Cash?
I feel bad for you.
Yeah, I personal preference.
He's like, Prince or Johnny Cash? No, it's going to be Prince, mate. I saw Prince at the O2 on his like last tour, and from what I remember, it was ages ago, but it was incredible.
Oh, I wonder. Do you know what? We always do this, and I've done it on purpose. Yeah. Like, there are some heavy hitters later.
Yeah, go on.
Right, so Prince or Taylor Swift.
Look after it for my daughter. Right?
Oh, really? No, the thing is, so my goddaughter, Etta, she is obsessed. She's 10 years old, and she was like, her dad's a DJ, drum and bass guy. Like, I did not see it coming, but she's obsessed. So I kind of see it through, I'm looking at it like that, and I think it's weird, and I don't mind the music, it's fine. The 1989 record was good, that was a long time ago, but why am I waffling? Prince, obviously. I don't need to do this each time.
Prince or Bob Dylan?
Prince again. I'm not a Bob Dylan guy. Everyone's faking it now, innit? Because of the movie. Everyone's like, oh my God, I loved his early work, the New York years and shit like that. It's like, mate, no, you don't listen to Bob Dylan at home. Stop lying.
Yeah, I feel like he was a comedian taking an impression in that film as well.
I haven't seen it.
I've watched bits of it and it was just like, I
haven't seen it.
Hey man, no man. I was like, oh, shut up. Anyway, right, so Prince or Ed Sheeran?
No, you know what? Again,
heavy hitters though. That's what I'm going for.
You're joking. Like, obviously Prince every day, but Ed, like with Adele, like, these people have carried our fucking industry for 25 years now.
Yeah.
Chris Martin, Adele, Ed Sheeran, like, I was seeing something about James Blake saying, you know what, everyone needs to stop fucking gunning Coldplay because Chris Martin's a genius and
I never got it. I never got why everyone would gun him. Like, I even loved Viva La Vida and all that stuff.
Oh no, Viva La Vida's low key the best thing they've ever done, mate. I think, and I never thought that at the time.
Low key though.
Yeah, now going back to it, it's actually great. You're not going to get me on podcast bigging up Coldplay. But no, Prince over Ed Sheeran, definitely.
You watch when he dies or something like that. Everyone will come out the woodwork and go, oh my God.
I was there at Glastonbury.
Yeah, they will do it.
All right, Prince or Leonard Cohen?
Leonard Cohen.
Prince again. Obviously, I'm going to do Prince, yeah.
Okay. Prince or Beyonce?
Prince.
Oh,
over Beyonce. The thing is, this is I throw a big controversial one out there. I'm not really having Beyonce. Doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
I've seen her live. I've seen the whole thing. Like, it just doesn't. I've never been able to be like, I'm really into this. It's always keeps me just at arm's length. And don't get me wrong, there's some incredible songs. A bit like what I'm saying. You go on her songwriters, about 40 writers on it. So, I respect her, incredible businesswoman, incredible consistency, but no, not for me.
Not the first I've heard say that, though. Like, my missus loves her. But
if I had to choose between Beyonce and Rihanna all day.
Yeah.
Rihanna's hits all day over Beyonce's hits for me.
She's got to come back with something big, isn't she? Rihanna, she'll come out. She's going to do a stadium tour, isn't she?
She's got to put an album out first. She hasn't done one for about 10 years. Well, I guess she doesn't, actually. She could just do a stadium tour.
Yeah. Right. Me?
Yeah.
Prince.
I've always about to say Prince or me. I did like that football one. Go on.
Prince or Paul McCartney?
Oh.
You got him.
Oh, come on.
That's tough.
That is.
Do you know what? I want a shot now, so I'm going to say I can't decide, but for me, it's Lennon McCartney over everybody. So in a way, for me personally, it's Lennon over everybody. But, if you're committed to the gospel that is the Beatles, then I'm never going to say anything other than something positive about Paul as well. So yeah, I'll take Paul, but Jesus Christ, that's a tie. You can tell I'm waffling. I can't actually say
you're shot in there.
I'll do a shot.
You don't have to. It's your personal preference. Who's going to have a go at you? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's yours. This is what
if I went to bed tonight saying McCartney, I know I'd wake up this morning and be like, sake, man, you're lying. Do a shot.
Right, what do you want? I've got limoncello. Well, this is pretty weak if you want a bit of that. Yeah?
I think you should have Duppy.
Yeah, I know. I can get you the Duppy, though.
No, let me try the Kano thing.
Right. Hold on.
Let's see what that's saying.
Here we go. Kano, again, you've come to the forefront. Duffy White.
Probably my favourite British artist right now.
Can't, mate.
Or for the last 10, 15 years.
Him and Mike Skinner for me. There you go. I'm not going to be mean.
No, don't be mean, mate. Be nice.
There you go.
What house to move into?
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Made in England, as Kano would say.
Yeah.
Where we at?
There's your chest.
That's actually really nice.
Right.
Okay.
Wow.
So I'll take McCartney. I'm taking McCartney through to the next round now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, you didn't need a shot for that?
Oh, okay.
No, but
you've raised a toast to Prince.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was an impossible question, but I'm taking McCartney through.
I'd have loved to have seen this mashup, though. We'll say it after.
Go on.
Paul McCartney or Frank Ocean?
Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Frank, don't get me wrong. I think Frank's got the potential to us to be sitting here when we're 60 and he's probably still only made one more album, but us to be talking about him still, you know, I think we'll still be here talking about what he's doing creatively in 20 years time. And that's the, you know, a bit like, you know, I say that, but it's like, I'm not comparing them, but I know for a fact in 20 years, I'll be having a conversation about a new Kano record or something new that Kano has done that is interesting me artistically. And like, you know, that's all you can want from the artist that you follow. So props to Frank.
Would Frank Ocean have beat Dolly Parton? That's who is up.
Yeah, I guess so. Because I don't know how much, you know, how many of her hits did Dolly write? I don't know. I actually don't know that.
I think she was a big songwriter.
Obviously, Willie wrote a lot of stuff for her, Willie Nelson, but I don't know how much she wrote.
Okay, so look, you've got
Paul
Who's next? Beats Dolly Parton. Okay.
All right. Paul McCartney or Kendrick Lamar?
Paul.
Yeah, okay. What do you think of Kendrick Lamar's new sort of phase?
I'm definitely too old to fake it, so I'm not going to sit here and say I've listened to the new album. I kind of, having been, you know, hip hop was, you know, like a lot of people, was my life from like 93 to about 2005, I would say. And then weirdly, as I kind of like, as in like, it was everything for me. Those are the only acts I was interested in. Those are the only music I wanted to be involved in. And that was a phenomenal era of US hip hop. But kind of when you're out, I have found at my age. So it's kind of mean I haven't really consumed anything. Well, I consume everything British, I should say, but nothing American anymore.
It's funny with him, like I felt like he was the David Bowie of rap. And now he's like Flavor Flav, like in a weird way. I don't know. It's just his stuff's just TikTok.
I don't think you can. I don't think he's the Dave, because David Bowie was an originator and he was the first of his kind. I think the issue that I have with Kendrick is that as amazing as he is, because I'm old as now and I've listened to hip hop for 20 years, I can hear all the influences of other things. So I can imagine being 15 and hearing Kendrick for the first time. You're like, what the But if you've grown up and you can hear all the influences, so also never compare anyone to David Bowie, mate. Otherwise I'm out.
David Bowie, king. Okay, so
Paul McCartney or Stevie Wonder?
Oh, as a songwriter, not even as like, is this my like who I want to listen to most, or is this like just like who do
personal preference in any field that you want to class it in?
Do you know what? The weirdest thing about Stevie is if you get deep on looking into Stevie stuff and like documentaries and things, I naively grew up thinking he was just this like jolly songwriting blind dude, but like, you know, he was actually like a mad womanizer, mad drinker, like
was he?
Yeah, completely like wouldn't turn up for things. Like he was rock and roll as well.
Wow.
Like there's this kind of like, we've got this image of him just being this like lovable guy.
Yeah.
But so actually finding out more about that about him has made me love him even more, basically. So I want to go Stevie.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't expect that. All right, Stevie Wonder or Lana Del Rey?
Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, we don't.
Stevie Wonder or Billie Eilish?
Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, we had Phineas next to Billie Eilish, but Phineas. Phineas. He's a Phineas. All right, okay. Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, go on.
Or Joni Mitchell.
Stevie again.
Okay.
Stevie or Bruce Springsteen?
Woo! Bruce, the boss. The boss is like Lennon, McCartney, Bruce, basically. I don't know if Bruce is necessarily 3 in the table in the all-time Ali Fletcher rankings, but if there's Messi and Ronaldo, and then underneath there's
Ronaldinho,
Zlatan, Ronaldinho, there's these other guys that are just f***ing godlike, but
insane.
They ain't the chosen one. Bruce is the godlike. So, and also with Bruce, like, I'm here to listen to it for my whole life. Like, I won't ever grow out of listening to like his key records in particular.
So you love Sam Fender?
Do you know what? So at first I really didn't like Sam Fender because I thought it was like, again, a bit like the Kendrick thing. Now you're at that miserable old age like your mum was when she'd be like, the Oasis sound like the Beatles. Do you know what I mean? You'd be like, shut up, mum. I'm obviously now at the age where 20-year-olds in my office will be like, Sam Fender, what a guy. And I'm like, put the boss on, mate. Put the real thing on. But weirdly on this third album, which I've got into much more, I think he's expanded his influences, which is still lots of things from the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
But he's also kind of evolved the sound of Bruce. And if I'm honest, I've taken my head out my ass a bit, and I'm like, cool, man. If him doing this means that, you know, I'm now going to make a Bruce Springsteen playlist and send it to one of my artists, which is actually true. I did that recently because they were like, they'll know who they are. They were like, oh man, Sam Fender. And I was like, listen to this, lad.
Yeah.
So if he's doing that, then great.
Oh mate, yeah. Props to Sam Fender. I think like he's like, I loved, what was the one? Blue Monday.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was brilliant. And then where he's come to now, like you say, he's carried on.
Yeah,
like he's carried on.
Yeah,
Bruce.
agreed.
What would he evolve into?
Agreed.
Like Bruce
Agreed.
was comfortable
Yeah.
where he was, and Bruce is Bruce. He's the boss. But okay, hold on. So
the boss is in charge now.
right, the boss.
How long?
Or John Lennon.
I don't even know. I was saying, John forever.
Why?
Oh God, I think where I'm at in my life, I think this era of my love for him has been understanding things about him more, and that's through, you know, the Get Back documentary, reading things, just becoming older myself, and you know, God, I'm going to go deep into this, but you know, the older you get, the more you understand love, the more you understand relationships, the more I understand. Thus, it gives you a better insight into his relationship with Paul, his relationship with Yoko, all the aspects of the whole thing, and just, you know, and all is said and done, being a normal guy from Liverpool that was just given this just God's gift. It's like Messi. It's like when you talk about Messi and you're like, how? Just how? And when I still to this day listen to, I would honestly say, realistically, I would listen in my house or in my headphones to 12 to 15 different Beatles songs every week. Never really in a row, but just like in passing, in shuffle, but they're always there. And you just pick up new things every time. You pick up new ad-libs, new harmonies, and so John, you know, as obvious as it is to say, but it's obvious because it's fact. It's like it's John and Bowie number ones, man.
Okay, John Lennon or The Weeknd?
Yeah, I ain't even saying it. Right, John Lennon or Carole King?
Johnny.
Yeah,
John Lennon or MJ?
Interesting thing about MJ's mythology is no one quite knows, and I've done I read all these sort of nerdy books about it, everyone's autobiography, everyone's podcast. You never quite know. No one's ever really clear about what he wrote and what don't get me wrong, he was involved in the creative process without question. But when you've got guys like, I've gone blank for the guitarist that wrote all the hooks, and obviously Quincy, and you know, you've got all these creative people around them. Listen, a lot of this is said about David Bowie, I should add as well, is there's lots of people that say that Bowie was as amazing as getting a room of people that were really talented to write his stuff, you know, with him. But ultimately, when the credits came out, it just said written by David Bowie. But actually, there was loads of shit going on in and amongst it. And I think the mythology about MJ is kind of quite similar. So as the craft of writing, I'm going to say I'm sticking with John, because that's a man and a guitar and his soul. Whereas I think MJ's thing comes from a different sort of skill.
Okay. Do you want to go with that one, or should you go with that one?
Yeah, let's throw it in there.
Go on then. You say it.
Oh, no.
All right, John.
Say it properly then.
John Lennon or R. Kelly?
You know what? Oh, this podcast is going to bring me down. Listen,
That's why he was scared to say
I can't
it.
fake it. No, but this is the thing. Like, you know, sometimes even when you're on the way to doing these things, you're like, oh, don't say anything dumb, or don't whatever. But the reality of it is, like, yeah, I'm where most of us are, where I'm uncomfortable listening to the music now.
Yeah.
I really pray, and I don't know how this happens, but I really pray and hope that eventually I won't feel this uncomfortable about it, because anyone that knows me will tell you I was a huge R. Kelly fan.
Was.
Was.
Clearly saying was.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, by the time everything happened, I wasn't listening to his music, but like growing up, like him as a writer, like his era of power between 95 and 2005 was like, he was one of the greatest songwriters ever, mate. And especially in like, that was the first time American R&B had become a global thing, and he like led that, and that was the music I loved. If there's Dr. Dre for hip hop, it was R. Kelly for R&B. Don't get it twisted. So yeah, obviously I'm going to pick John, but it's sad that I now can't listen to R. Kelly right now, and I really hope eventually I'm going to be able to. I don't know how, I don't know when that happens, but
Yeah. Last one. I think you know what's coming.
Don't do it.
John Lennon or David Bowie?
Ooh. Oh. Jesus Christ. How can you answer that? Do you know what's double messed me up is that in the last few years I watched the Moon Age Daydream, which is the David Bowie documentary, and then Get Back, which is the Beatles documentary, which is like 7 hours long. And just by doing those, just by indulging in those things, and I can only advise everyone to go and watch them, because the insight you get, and normally I've seen every documentary about everybody, but like in that world, and it's normally just like, and then he came into the studio and he just said, you know what, Starman, and started playing. or I just knew when he walked in the room. It's like that. But these documentaries give a real insight into both of them. And where Bowie, even in that documentary, where it's just on different levels, is that I think he pushed himself to change, whereas John just evolved with it. It's like, this is now the thing I'm into, whereas Bowie would be almost calculated with like, this is what we're doing next. This is this. Weirdly, I was watching the Luther Vandross documentary last week, and there's a whole bit on it which I didn't know, that Luther was David Bowie's backing vocalist.
Yeah, you didn't know that, man.
No, I knew a bit of the story, but I didn't know the details of it. And more interesting for me was how within that it was showing how Bowie in that era had like pinpointed this type of soul music in the US, and was like, that's the thing. Fuck New York soul, like down south soul. There's this little thing going, I think it was in Philly, like no one's done that yet. I'm going to zone in on that. I'm going to move there, and I'm just going to spend 6 months only working with the writers and the community of that sound to build that sound. And then for the next album, I'm doing this in non-chronological order, but for Heroes, it's like, cool, I'm going to Berlin, I'm living a bunch of post office, I'm going to like eat soup, or like, he goes in on it. And like, I just comparing like John, who's just the natural, like David is like a scientist as well. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to say Bowie. I'm going to say Bowie will always win.
Wow.
Always win, number one.
There you have it. David Bowie, Ali Fletcher's winner of Showstopper.